The recent televised outburst by comedian Jim Davidson, in which he launched a scathing attack on London Mayor Sadiq Khan and Labour leader Keir Starmer, has ignited one of the most intense political firestorms in recent British media history. This explosive incident, which unfolded during a primetime talk show, has become a lightning rod for debates about free speech, political correctness, immigration policy, and the very fabric of contemporary British society. The controversy reveals deep fractures in the national conversation and raises fundamental questions about where Britain is headed as it grapples with its identity in an increasingly polarized world. Davidson's tirade began with what appeared to be a critique of Mayor Khan's recent public statements about community relations, but quickly escalated into something far more personal and politically charged. The veteran entertainer, known for his no-holds-barred comedic style, adopted a tone that blended sarcasm with barely-contained fury as he addressed the camera. His opening salvo took aim at Khan's suggestion that Britons should make special efforts to connect with ethnic minority neighbours, which Davidson characterised as unnecessary racial categorisation rather than genuine community building. "What we're seeing here is the very definition of divisive politics," Davidson declared, his voice rising with each word. "Since when did we need instructions from City Hall about who deserves our kindness? The idea that we should specifically seek out black or brown neighbours to hug isn't progressive, it's patronising to everyone involved." This rhetorical approach, combining populist sentiment with a rejection of what he framed as excessive political correctness, would become the hallmark of his entire rant. The comedian then pivoted sharply to what he portrayed as Khan's hypocrisy regarding other minority groups. With palpable anger, Davidson referenced the ongoing concerns of British Jews who have reported feeling increasingly unsafe in London during the frequent pro-Palestinian marches that have occurred since the recent conflict in Gaza began. Where was this sudden concern for minority welfare when Jewish families were telling him they felt terrified walking through their own neighborhoods? Davidson demanded. The silence from the mayor's office has been deafening and telling. This portion of his critique seemed designed to highlight what many conservative commentators have described as selective outrage in progressive politics. By contrasting Khan's recent statements with his relative silence on antisemitism concerns, Davidson sought to portray the mayor as practicing a form of identity politics that prioritizes some minority groups over others. The rhetorical strategy proved effective among his target audience, with many viewers later praising this particular line of argument on social media. As the rant continued, Davidson expanded his attack to include the entire Labour Party leadership under Keir Starmer. His language grew increasingly personal and derogatory, referring to Starmer as utterly clueless and completely disconnected from the real concerns of working Britons. This escalation served to broaden the scope of his critique from specific policies to a wholesale rejection of the current political establishment. What made Davidson's outburst particularly impactful was its timing and context. Britain currently finds itself at a cultural crossroads, with traditional political allegiances shifting and public trust in institutions at historic lows. The comedian's tirade tapped directly into this atmosphere of disillusionment, giving voice to frustrations that many citizens feel but that mainstream politicians often temper in their public statements. The response to Davidson's comments has been both immediate and deeply polarized, revealing just how fractured British society has become on these issues. On social media platforms, the clip spread rapidly, amassing millions of views within hours. Supporters praised Davidson for his plain speaking and willingness to address topics they feel have become taboo in polite society. Many described his rant as a long-overdue challenge to what they see as excessive political correctness in public life. Conversely, critics including numerous advocacy groups and political figures condemned the remarks as inflammatory and dangerous. Several organizations dedicated to fighting racism and promoting social cohesion issued statements warning that such rhetoric risks normalizing extremist views. The mayor's office itself responded with a carefully worded rebuke, emphasizing Khan's commitment to representing all Londoners while subtly suggesting Davidson's comments crossed the line into irresponsible demagoguery. This controversy takes place against a backdrop of measurable decline in public confidence for both Khan and Starmer. Recent opinion polls show the London mayor's approval ratings slipping significantly, particularly regarding his handling of crime and public safety in the capital. Similarly, Labour under Starmer has struggled to reconnect with its traditional working-class base, with many former strongholds expressing dissatisfaction with the party's current direction. Davidson's rant, while crude in its execution, clearly tapped into these broader currents of discontent.